Hello everyone, this is Nexonia with a brief walkthrough on how to file expenses on both our web-based interface and with our mobile apps. Now, I'll be using our default configuration, and because our system can be tailored to your company's specifications and needs, there may be some small differences in fields and layouts. However, everything you see here will be applicable to you, so let's get started. Here we are in Sample Co., one of the many clients that uses Nexonia for expenses. I've logged in as user Sandra James, and you can see that Sample Co. has customized their interface with their logo and colors. Our theme editor lets you brand your Nexonia experience to maintain continuity for all of your users. Now, before we start playing with the web UI, though, let's take a look at our Expenses mobile app available for the iOS range of devices. This includes the iPhone, the iPod Touch like I have here, and the iPad tablet. Now, though I'll be using iOS in this video, we do have near-identical apps for phones, tablets, and similar devices for the Android and BlackBerry 10 platforms. The differences are largely aesthetic, and anything I do on my iPod here is available on Android and BlackBerry 10, so for those of you not of the Apple persuasion, we definitely have you covered. Check out the App Store, the Play Store, or the App World Market to download expenses for free. Now, when you first load up our app, you'll be given a login prompt for your email address and password. This is the same as your credentials for the web UI. Now, I've already logged in as Sandra, so we'll bypass that. But if you'd like to change users at any point, simply click on your user information at the top of the screen, and it will give you the option to log out. Our main landing page gives you a summary of reports, approvals, and credit card transactions available to you, but we're going to go right into reports. Now, Sandra already has a number of reports available, and our mobile will display the 15 most recent reports by default. We'll ignore these at the moment because we want to create a fresh new one. Click the plus to create a new expense report and give it a title. In the reports screen, you'll see the report name, a section for receipts, and the items heading. Click on the plus in this heading to create a new item. Choose the date you incurred the expense and any other needed fields, be it customer or department. And aside from expense category, required fields will be colored red, and you'll be prevented from saving the expense until they are filled out. Remember that any other information that isn't explicitly requested can also be put in the memo field. Your currency settings will automatically populate an exchange rate if different than your base currency, and we store exchange rates for up to 90 days. Now click Save, and you've completed an expense item. It will keep the orange draft icon, meaning you can make any changes necessary until it's ready to be submitted. In this case, the red paperclip indicates that we need to add a receipt to the item to complete the report, so let's do so now. Head back into the expense item and click the camera button. It will load up the camera on your phone or tablet and let you take a photograph of the receipt in question. Clicking Use will link the receipt directly into the expense item and change the paperclip to green. It will also register on the main report summary screen and be available for any other expense items you'd like to use it for within this report. You can also load receipts into the report rather than the item, say if you made a credit card purchase that isn't yet available on Nexonia. Simply go to the receipt screen from the report summary and either take a photo with the camera or load from your camera roll using the landscape icon. Any linked receipts will be indicated by the expense number on the receipt screen. Now that we've finished up this expense item, let's submit it for approval by clicking the Submit button at the top. Choose Submit on NextSync, because unlike a lot of other financial apps, Nexonia Expenses doesn't require an active data connection to work. We've saved this in our queue for the next time we have Wi-Fi or a 2G, 3G, or LTE network available. Nexonia can be used on airplanes, out of Wi-Fi zones, or anywhere you have your phone or tablet. It will save your expense report until you sync with us. Do this by clicking the circular arrow buttons at the top or simply pulling down on the report screen. Once that icon turns blue, it will be submitted for approval and no longer available for editing. You'll see the name of the approver listed on the report screen, so they're the ones to get in touch if you made a mistake. Alright, so we filed some expenses on the mobile app, so let's go to the web and see how it looks. Back on our web browser, all expenses are handled through the Expenses tab, where all of the expenses Sandra had filed to date are listed. We hold on to all information for up to 7 years, so anything you've entered, whether they've been sent to your company's accounting program or not, will remain on the expenses screen for your records. You can also sort each of these columns by clicking on the column name, and there's a filter button for more in-depth searching of your previous expenses. Let's quickly go over the report we just created. All of the expense info that we filed is here and very accessible, as is the receipt we photographed. If we go to the receipt page for the report, you can also see the other receipt taken from our camera roll. This is now available for any expense item in the future. Let's add a new expense report. We have no limit on how many reports can be opened at any one time, and there are no limits to how many expense items or receipts can be added to a single report. Click Add Expense Report and give it a title. Clicking OK will bring up the expense report summary, which you can see is currently empty. Let's give it something to play with, so click the Add Expense Item button to create a new expense. Pick the date the expense was incurred and fill out the fields available. Sandra is only able to expense to one client or customer in this case, but can still choose from 2 projects. She'll also choose the lunch category for this expense and make sure to select Yes from the Have Receipt field. Add in the total and fill out the memo box with any other information needed for approval. Save and close the expense, and let's see what we have. All the most important parts of the expense are displayed in the report screen, and the summary total at the top has been updated for the expense added. There are also status icons here on the left, and they mean exactly the same as they do on mobile. Orange means that this is still in draft mode, so you can still make any changes to this expense item before you submit it. As soon as it turns blue, you won't be able to make any further changes. You can also click on the icon to bring up a history of the expense, showing when it was created and when any changes were made or receipts were added. This goes for expense reports as well. This expense item also has the red paperclip, so we're going to have to add a receipt to it in order to submit it. Click on the Receipt Pages tab and then the Add Receipts pull-down menu on the right. We offer a number of ways to add receipts, including our mobile app, email, fax, and webcam. Right now, let's upload some images right off of my computer. We accept a wide variety of image files, so you can scan or take a digital photograph, or even upload PDF files you've received over email. We also accept receipts over fax. Create an expense report and choose to add a receipt by fax. Print out the cover page and use that for all receipts. Our system will automatically process the image and put the receipt into this report, making it available for any expense in that report. You can also send an email to receipts@nexonia.com attaching an image of your receipt taken on your mobile phone or your computer. We'll accept all the same file formats as a standard upload, and we'll even accept the body of an email if you received a receipt from a web purchase. In any case, we will automatically put the receipts into the most recent report on your account. Make sure to send it to us from an email address we recognize, or we won't know which account to put it in. In both fax and email, you'll receive a notification in your inbox within 5 minutes telling you that we got your receipt. If you haven't heard from us, get in touch. And finally, there's the webcam button. Available in both Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox browsers, this option will let you use the webcam built into your monitor or connected via USB to take a photo of your receipt and input it directly into the Nexonia system. Now that we've added 3 receipts, let's link them to the expense items in question. Click on the Items tab and go back into the expense we just created. Select the receipt you want to link to the report by using the arrows on the far right. Once you have it selected, click the Link button. You'll see that the receipt's number now appears beside the Have Receipt option. Save and close. The red paperclip has now turned green. This expense item is ready to submit. By doing so, the status icon goes from orange to blue, and it is now waiting for approval. Okay, so I've added an expense item for $150 under the category of hotel and linked the other 2 receipts to the system. Even though Sandra paid the full $150 at once when she checked out of her hotel, the total was actually broken down into different categories, for instance, internet or telephone. We'll need to split this charge up by clicking the Split Item button and adding 3 expenses totaling $150. The creation screen for split items gives you exactly the same information as a normal item creation screen. The only restriction here is that you're limited to $150 in total. You can even add an expense that is a percentage of the total by choosing the percentage from the pull-down menu. The expensed amounts are subtracted from the total you have available to expense. Once you've finished splitting the total up, click Save and Close, and you'll see how we show off a split item. On the mobile app, split items are available as well. They are shown as separate split items, and you can create them from the item creation screen by scrolling to the very bottom and choosing the split option. If you have a credit card configured for your account, adding a transaction is easy on mobile. In the report summary, choose the credit card icon on the item heading. You'll be given a list of credit card transactions available and the option to select which card you'd like to expense if you have more than one. Choose your transaction and it will automatically fill out a number of fields for you. Fill out the rest like any other expense item, adding receipts if necessary, and save the item. You'll notice it has an image of the card type alongside it, telling you that this is a credit card transaction. It's just as simple on web. From the report screen, click Add from Credit Card, and you'll be given a list of all available transactions for the card selected at the top. Choose a transaction you'd like to add, pick a category for that expense, and click Create and Close from the bottom. The expense will then be listed on the report screen as any other item, though it too includes an icon of the credit card type. There's also a permanent delete button if you have a personal card available and want to get rid of personal transactions you'd rather not be visible. Also notice that as we go, the total amounts on the report summary is divided up between different statuses. You may have some items that you're still working on alongside items that are submitted or even approved, so we make sure to keep those totals separate so you know what you're looking at. We now have 3 expenses, one of which is submitted and 2 which are not. Let's submit the other 2 and move them into the approvals queue. You'll see that the expense report informs you who is approving your expense in case you need to get in touch with them. This will continue to change as it moves up the approval process. In this case, the one step is John Smith. Now, John will receive a notification telling him that there are approvals available. He will look at the expense, decide if it is ready to go, and approve or reject the expense. In both cases, he'll have the option to leave you a brief note explaining why, and you can access that through the history by clicking on the status icon. Once approved, the status will change to green and everything is good to go. That's it. You're done. Nexonia has worked very hard to make this system as easy as possible, and we're always updating our interface to improve your experience. As you go, if you have any questions or would like some more help, don't hesitate to get in touch with us by clicking on your name, choosing Get Help, and getting in touch with us by email or phone. Thanks for listening, and enjoy using Nexonia.